On this week's show, how to become financially free in 2019.
We're going to be sharing a success story from one of our students.
And in the news, what do tenants actually want from rental properties? Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're here every single Friday at 4 p.m. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends. Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. I'm looking forward to today's show. It's going to be a really good one.
I like it, being financially free. That's what we're going to be discussing today. So I do like that today's topic.
I love the way you said that. It was like so robotic. It's going to be a good show. I like it.
No, I do.
I like it. I do.
Oh, you weren't here yesterday, were you?
No. Well, I was, but...
Yeah, you were busy, but you went in the group interviews.
No.
Ah, okay.
Is it just that? That's just
you know
for
what I'm talking about, don't you?
That's just for us. Are you going to share?
We had an attendee who is very robotic in his answers.
Really?
Like super robotic.
Has he rubbed off on you a little bit?
A little bit. No, he's good. He's a nice guy, but he's just very. He's always put a lot of effort into script and everything. That all his answers are very robotic.
Really? So you asked him a random question, and he'd scripted it already.
It seemed so scripted, didn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So what have you been up to?
I've been at the dentist this morning.
I know. Good.
And
You had to have any teeth pulled out?
Nope.
Cool.
No. Do you know? I was saying to the dentist, I've never had any operations. I've never had any. I've never had any anaesthetic. I've never had any surgery. I've never had nothing. So whenever I have anything little, I hate it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, like injections, I hate.
Oh, really?
I'm like, yeah.
I'm a little bit sick in the fact that I actually don't mind going to the dentist. I don't mind sitting there having a drill into my tooth. It's really weird. I actually don't mind it. But when I was younger...
I don't think he doesn't. I think he loves it.
No, I don't mind it. It don't
Is
bother
your
me.
dentist female?
Nah, no. Yeah.
No, she's not.
No, when I was younger, right, I've had to have my two front teeth are false teeth, they're fake teeth.
Your two front teeth?
Yeah, those.
Did you get them for Christmas?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they were in my stocking. No. When I was young, shall I tell you how it happened?
Go on.
I got into a bit of an argument with my brother, and he grabbed my head, right, genuinely, and smacked it on the side of a pool table. We were playing pool, and he grabbed me by the head and smacked it on the side, and my tooth just popped out. My front teeth come out, so I had to have two front teeth put in.
Wow.
I know, it's funny. We were boys when we were growing up. I'm sure you and Samuel messed around and played and had fun, and then got into fights and.
Nothing like that.
Very boring growing up. I grew up in Scotland where in the fields we used to go out and have fun and fight. And
by fun, he means his brother grabbed his face and smashed it into a pool table.
Yeah, just boys growing up.
You've got permanent two fake teeth.
Yeah. You didn't know, so you'd never know.
No, true. Fair enough. So what have you been up to this week? I've been to the dentist. It's been an exciting week.
Well, you've had an exciting week, dentist. But yeah, no, we've been at training course, so we've had a training course. I spent 3-4 nights in a hotel last week, out doing various things, meetings.
Things like
I did have an interest in. It made me chuckle. So at the end of lead generation mastery last week.
Yeah.
I got back to the hotel room. It was really quiet. It was like 9-10 o'clock at night. I was quite hungry. I'd not eaten most of the day, so I ordered room service.
Was that the day I was with you and we had burger and chips for lunch?
No, it was the day after.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I ordered room service, right? And I was a bit tired, so I just I got the menu. I picked the phone up, and I dialed the number on the menu, and I rung up, and I said, "Hey, can I order some room service, please?" And the person said,
"I know this story." Sorry,
the person said, "Yeah, no problem, sir. What can I get you?" And I went, "Oh, can I have the fillet steak and can I have that with like mash and stuff like that?" And they said, "Yeah, no problem. Do you want sauce with that?" And I'm like, "Actually, yeah. Can I have peppercorn sauce?" And he said, "What about some?" He goes, "Do you want a drink? What do you want to drink?" And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll have a Coke or whatever." I can't remember what it was. I think I had a beer. And then he said, "Oh, do you want any sides? Anything else?" And this went on for like maybe 30, 40 seconds. And he went, "Okay, no problem. So that'll be with you in 30 to 40 minutes." Thinking, cool. Gonna have a shower, chill out. And then as I put the phone down, I heard him giggling, and he went, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Turns out I dialed another bedroom in the hotel, and the guy was just pulling my leg. And I'll tell you what, we spoke we had a bit of a giggle to each other for the next 30 seconds. It made my night. It was so switched on, this guy, and he was so quick to think of that and do that. Very quick-witted.
You had a little giggle for 30 seconds. Were you just both there just going...
No, but I said, I said, mate, I'm so sorry. And he went, don't worry, man, it was hilarious. It was funny, it was good.
Oh, that's funny. Cool. Right, so, first up, how to become financially free in 2019.
Yep.
Well, there's... Samuel's done a video kind of covering this.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a little watch of that now, and then we'll discuss our thoughts.
Hi, my name's Samuel Leeds, and in this video I just wanted to share a few things about financial freedom and how anyone can become financially free here in the UK. So, I mean, sometimes people think financially free means being really, really rich. Actually, that's not the case at all. Financially free simply means when you have enough money that's coming in each and every month, regardless of whether you work or not, to cover your lifestyle, which means that you don't have to work. It means you can do what you want, when you want, with who you want. Right now I'm just at the park with my family and my daughter, and I'm not working, but while I'm doing this, I'm still getting paid. So how does that work then? Well, there's a lot of different ways to create passive income. Passive income is when you work once, or you do something once, and you get paid forever. Active income is where you work once and you get paid once. And we're programmed as children to work for passive income. We're programmed as children to exchange our time for money. If you say to your parents when you're younger, oh, I want this new thing, or I want the new PlayStation, they'll say, go and get a job. They don't say, go and get some passive income. So there's a lot of different ways you can get passive income. You can do it through business, automated business, you can do it through franchises, subscriptions, vending machines, affiliate marketing, network marketing. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can get passive ongoing residual income, which means that you're getting paid when you sleep. But I think that the best way is property. And I mean, if you look at the rich list, everybody who's super rich all invest in property. And there's a reason why they do that, because rich people are smart, and rich people know that the best way to make money is to do it when you sleep, and the best format of doing that is to do it through property. Here in the UK, it's an absolutely fantastic place to invest in property because we're a small island, we've got an overpopulation of people, and we've got a limited space, greenbelt, we've got a shortage of houses. So despite what's going on with Brexit and the tax changes, and some of the people are, a bit scared at the moment, property is still the best way to create financial freedom. So I want to give you a definition of what financial freedom is, a formula for those of you that like formulas and like things to be very neat and tidy, and that is this. When your passive income is equal to or greater than your living expenses. So if it costs you £3,000 a month to live, then you need £3,000 a month in passive income to be financially free. And the fastest way to do that is to simplify your expenditures as low as they can go. And then to get that figure, set it in your brain, and set out to earn that in passive income. And you can do that through property. You don't even have to own the property. You can control the property. You can use contracts like rent to rents, where you rent a property, but then you sub-rent it out as serviced accommodation or as a HMO. So you can do lease option agreement, where you buy a property now, but you pay for it later. And I believe that anybody can achieve financial freedom, and the best and fastest way to do that is property.
Okay, so first of all, one of the interesting things in the video is what is being financially free, because a lot of people
get confused,
as Samuel mentioned, don't know what it means. They assume that if you're financially free, you're a millionaire or whatever.
I think wasn't he at one of his years, like 4 or 5 years ago, when he was sort of first financially free? Didn't somebody sort of make a comment to him about how he flew there in a helicopter and things like that, and he was still driving like his banged up old sort of whatever Astra or something like that? I remember he was telling me that.
Probably, I don't know.
But it's people's misinterpretation of financially free.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're rolling about with like millions of pounds in the bank. It just means that technically your passive income covers your living expenses.
Yeah. So I mean, Samuel's definition of it in a video, which it's really simple, is that your basic living expenses.
Yeah.
And I suppose your basic living expenses is one of the keys here, because if you want to be financially free, the easiest way to do that is to have a lower cost of living.
Yeah.
And you don't need that much money to live. How much do you think you do need?
I mean, it is very dependent on where you live in the country. Like, to be financially free in London is very different to being financially free in like the north of England, because the house costs, the cost of houses, the rental.
So let's go middle of the road then, Midlands.
So in Midlands, I think to live in a pretty decent house, I think a couple of grand a month is not an unreasonable figure. I think that most people could be financially free if they earn £2,000 a month.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Possibly a little bit less, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like for me to be financially free, I need about £1,600 a month. So my financial freedom thing is quite low because I have
£1,600. Yeah. So that's about 18 grand.
Yeah, about 18 grand. Yeah. So my mortgage, all my bills, all my necessities are covered within £1,600. Yeah. So it's not bad.
No. So when you look at it like that, all you need to do is have a low basic living. You don't have to live like that because you could have a job as well. But if you knew, let's say you had two properties that between them were bringing in £1,600 a month, you would know that it doesn't matter what happened to everything else that you had going on, you could survive. Yeah, you can survive.
I think people get. We've said this a minute ago. People do think it means that you're living the lavish lifestyle. It doesn't. It means you're sort of living a mediocre lifestyle. You're getting by. You're just getting by. Obviously, once we both go to crash courses all the time, and on day 2 when Samuel does I can make everybody a little bit closer to their financial freedom figure. Simplify your expenses, cut down your expenses. You can feel the air leave, kind of. You can feel literally the air sort of like leave the room where people are like, oh, I don't want to cut my expenses. Yeah. But it's amazing. Most people have some things and that coming out their banks that they just pointless, like a complete waste of money. Multiple gym memberships. I know people that have had multiple gym memberships because like I know a guy that used to travel throughout the country, and he had gym memberships all over the place for all different brands of gyms, like all the national ones, so he could go to any of them wherever he happened to be. But he rarely went to the gym.
That's good if you go all the time.
Yeah, it's good if you go all the time, but it's just a waste of money. Yeah. Things like, I know like my Sky TV bill was like over £100 a month, and we've just cut that right down because I don't watch TV. The kids watch TV, but I don't really watch Sky TV. So what about yourself?
TV, I don't watch.
No, but you like bills. Is there bills that you've managed to trim up to get you closer to that FF figure?
I'm not gonna lie. And it's not that low.
Oh, I wouldn't thought it would be because like, well, obviously as you've grown, you've earned a lot of money. You spend more. Yeah. But we're not talking about people that are millionaires and making money.
What I can say is I used to live off about the same. But maybe even less.
So do you want to disclose your FF figure now? Do you know it?
My FF figure now?
Yeah. Do you know it or do you not really worry about it too much now?
Yeah, probably about... Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. So, what's your financial freedom figure? How many properties do you need to have to hit that?
Well, here's the thing. You're making me sound like a massive hypocrite now.
No, I'm
because
not.
I would say that this is if you want to become financially, if that's your goal, your first step is to know your figure. Yep. I know I could live off. I'd have to like get a new house and car and stuff, but I know I could live off a lot less because I used to. Yeah. So when I first started my own business, I was probably living off about 15 grand a year. And that was for me and my wife, and she hated her job, and I was just like, just quit, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So we were literally living off that, and we didn't have very much money at all. So I know I can do. I wouldn't want to do that now.
Well, you're not in that position where you have to. So what do our listeners need to do to start getting towards
Well, first of all, they need to work
figure?
out what the figure is. Yeah. And then what they need to do is they need to get passive income. And obviously Sam explains in the video, passive income is money that comes in. So you can get that from businesses, you can get that from lots of different avenues where you can generate a passive income. Property is one of the best, if not the best.
I completely agree.
So you need to get your passive income coming in that matches your
living expenses.
Your living expenses.
I'll tell you a good example of passive income is books. like especially since my books come out, I'm seeing that income as well.
Yeah.
And that's actually like pretty passive. I've wrote the book once. I'm getting paid for it. The money's just getting building up in the Amazon account, and that'll get paid out every 3 months. So that's just it's great passive income.
It's passive income. It's not going to last forever.
No.
And I suppose you know one of the things that I do is interesting is people always say passive income is money where you do the work, where you get paid forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very rarely the case.
Yeah. So what happens if a tenant moves out?
What they'd argue is you've got a management agent in place who would then get you a new tenant.
Yeah.
And obviously you're factoring voids into those figures.
Yeah, you have to, like, passive income's great, but obviously it still needs a little bit of management. To say that you set it up once and never have to worry about it again is not, I probably don't agree with that 100%, because you do have to worry about it. A little bit. Like, if you've got 20 houses, I know you can have a management company managing them 20 houses, but if that management company's rubbish, you then have to worry about replacing them. So you've always got that little bit of a concern in the background that what happens if...
Because ultimately you're responsible.
Of course it is. Yeah, you're responsible for your own destiny. You can't put your destiny or your passive income in somebody else's hands.
And unless you were, put a load of money into, say, like a bank account that had a fixed rate for 20 years.
Well, we were talking about this just last week, weren't we? That lend a hand program.
Yeah.
And the
2.5%.
Yeah, it was like that's not bad, is it?
No, it's not bad.
It starts with a figure other than zero, so it's good for banks.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, there are certain things you can invest your money and put it on like a long term deal, which I suppose for then, at least for that period, it's
passive.
It's passive. But even then, if something went wrong and they stopped paying you, you'd need to be on it, and you'd need to be aware.
So, would you favour property over business for passive income? Because obviously, if you've got a very good systemized business, that can be passive income and massive income.
Do you know what I think is the most passive? And we talked about this a few weeks ago. Commercial property.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Commercial property is... Because with a property, even if you've got a management company, they're still going to phone you if there's a problem, or the boiler's broke, what do you want to do? And you're still going to have certain things. Commercial property, once you've got a tenant, it's on long lease, they do all the repairs. Boom.
Case in point, I'm helping somebody out at the minute who is about to take on a 3,500 square foot commercial unit. It's on a 20-year lease with no break clause.
Wow.
Full repair lease, so they have to do all the maintenance, all the repairs.
Wow, 20 years, that's a long time.
It's a long time, isn't it?
That is 20 years. That's ridiculously long with no break clause.
But that's what this company want, and he's going to probably be signing up to that in the next couple of days. But I've advised them to try and get a break clause in there somewhere, or to try and have some sort of a get out clause.
Why? Is he the tenant?
Yeah, he's the tenant. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant he was buying the unit.
No. He's the tenant. He's looking to rent this place for his business. His business is doing well, but even then, 20 years is a long time. 20 years
is not like...
What options would you have to get out of that? Like, for instance...
I'm not a specialist in getting out of contracts.
It's long, so that's why passive income from a commercial is great. Because you imagine that investor, the guy that owns that, or the person that owns that property, he's got guaranteed rent for the next 20 years.
Yeah,
that's passive income.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have to worry about maintenance. So yeah, that's good passive income.
So commercial, if you want passive, I suppose the question you've got to ask yourself as well is how passive do you want the income to be? Like, do you want to go and live on a beach and do nothing?
No.
Or are you happy to get a phone call once in a couple of months?
Would you do that?
Do what?
Go and completely set up your passive income business, so you're making, I don't know, let's just say 20 grand a month passive, and then just really, let's just think about it. 20 grand a month passive is enough for everybody. Like, I know you might want more, but that is there's not much you couldn't do with that, is there? No. So you could then get 20k a month, and then bugger off to a beach somewhere and just live happily ever after. Is that something no, bore the tears off me, I tell you. Yeah, I couldn't stand that. I get bored after 6 days on a beach.
I could probably do that.
Oh right, okay, at the minute, but you don't want to. Yeah.
Oh, but why would I? Why? Yeah. No.
It's not. I think if you're business minded, it's just business. You want business.
What's the point? What would be your purpose in life? Which is why you got to think about your goals. A lot of people, when they're stuck in a rat race or something, they just think, "Oh, I want to be passive income. I'm going to learn a bit." No, well, they might, but I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, but
I think anyone that had that as their long-term goal, to be honest, would struggle to make it in the first place. Because if that's their nature, they want to go and lie on a beach. They're not going to put the graft in.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
That's a good point, actually.
They're not going to do it. I don't think. I mean, they might eventually
It's a bit of a
retire.
pipe dream, isn't it? It's like when you're stuck in a 9-to-5 sort of rat race job or whatever. You're looking at these glossy magazines of all these beach pictures, and people sort of see it's a bit of a pipe dream. You think, oh, I'm going to win the lottery, I'm going to retire on a beach. It's boring.
Yeah, it is boring. And when you take a look at our success students and stuff, you see that the graph that goes in the background when you hear their stories. In fact, let's hear from one of our success students right now.
This week we have 4 winners on a Wednesday. These guys have formed a fantastic collaboration. Came on the crash course last year. Well, you came on the crash course last year. Did some incredible things, financially free, living in...
actually living in Poland.
Just, guys, why don't you just all tell us what on earth... You guys are like maniacs. I see you on Facebook doing deals all of the time, and you've done some incredible things. So why don't you just kick off and tell us what you've been doing over the last 12 months?
So over the last 12 months, when I started at the crash course in February in Manchester, I got more orientated. I educated myself on property, etc. I started deal sourcing. I formed my sourcing company, AAA Sourcing Ltd. By then it was Ltd, now it is AAA Property Solutions Ltd. I just changed the name. Fully compliant company, and from summer 2018 till the end of the year I sold over 20 deals.
So hold on. So you came on the crash course in February.
Yes.
And since then you've sold over 20 property deals.
Yes.
And made about how much money from that?
The lowest is £400.
Okay.
And the highest is 3,500.
So you sold 20 deals. The lowest was £400. An average would be around about what?
Let's say I think 16.
1,600.
1,600. Yeah.
Okay, so that's fantastic.
Yes.
That's great.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how on earth did you guys form?
Yeah, so myself and Giovanni Lopez, we come from Cambridge, and personally myself just left sixth form, so I've turned 20 this year. Giovanni 22 this year. We came together purely because of the inspiration of entrepreneurship, financial freedom. Both working a punting job in Cambridge, the famous River Punt in Cambridge, home to a lot of teenagers coming out of school, and it brought us together in that essence, talking about business. And from then on we came to a crash course in August. We met Alistair Cunningham in the crowd, and he was really the pinnacle of our decision to go further in property, taking us aside, and actually we stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning in the Hilton, talking about how we can take the next steps forward.
What with Alistair, you mean?
Alistair, yes.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Amazing.
Really inspirational, and we put a lot of value on that. Someone we don't know, we just met that day, and it's really showing us the possibilities of property, and that aligned with our future vision.
Yeah.
Through networking and hard work, we've found Joan on Facebook, which is a very powerful tool for us. And
actually, on your property investors with Samuel Leeds. Yeah.
Correct.
That's how we found each other.
I've been property for 2 years now, and I'm just I found the guys in team in Facebook as well, and I just the networking through the Facebook, in your Facebook, is really good because I didn't know any of the teams, and we just started knowing each other from the Facebook, which is really good. And just trying to know each other and start doing the JV with each other more and more. And as a team, I believe we're doing really well because all of the guys in a separate area are doing really well.
Yeah.
In each area
So
that they are.
let me ask you a question then. You've been in property a couple of years.
Yes.
I know at the moment you're doing some really good rent-to-rent deals and all stuff, which you're doing as a group.
Yes.
Why do you think you'll go further or get more money, or maybe it's not about the money, as a group than just all working individually?
Yes, this is the actually great question, and as a team, each can earn more. When we are in a team, each of us got a just expertise in area. For example, boys are really good in finding the deal and area, and John is really good to finishing the deal and speaking to the
I can imagine
landlord,
that.
speaking to the landlord and finishing the deal.
Yes.
And when we're doing service accommodation, as you know, at the moment, and for the just decoration and just the finishing touch, I'm just helping guys to do the property just a bit outstanding.
Yes.
And we do all the process, and each of us doing the area that we are just expertise on a bit.
So basically what you're saying is you've got skills, you guys have got skills. Did you guys know each other already?
Yeah, I came across your book.
Yes.
So initially, I then presented it to Malou, read your book in like a day. It was the way you wrote it, brought a lot of the energy that you brought into the book, and it was very inspiring. And then we booked onto your course straight after that, and me and Malou went together. And then after that, started networking on Facebook, met Jen, and that's how it brought us to Manchester.
So in the news this week, I've came across this really interesting article on Which magazine. Do you get Which magazine? No, I don't either. But if I was going to get any sort of magazine, I quite like the idea of Which.
Which is like a consumer magazine, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sort of rates stuff and things like that.
Yeah, but I thought this was a really good idea. So basically, it's landlords.
Yep.
So speaking to us, landlords.
Yep.
What do tenants want from your buy-to-let property? And they've done surveys and stuff to find out what tenants actually are after.
Okay.
Which is quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the reason they've done it is because rental income is shrinking for the first time in a decade.
Is it?
Which I thought was because rental is just rising,
Yeah.
shrinking now for the first time in a decade.
Is that across the country or is that just in certain areas?
That's across the country.
Okay.
Landlords need to consider what their tenants truly value in their property. Rental income fell, right? Have a guess how much by it fell across the country from 2017 to 2018. I'll give you a clue. It's a lot.
Is it higher than 10% or below 10%?
It's a figure.
Oh, okay, I don't know, 7%. Oh, wait, as in a pound note?
Yeah.
£200
11%?
£200 a month?
No. It's an overall figure.
Yeah, so overall, the average across the UK, it fell down.
No, imagine what they did, right? If they took every house that was up for rent, and they said, okay, it's £200 a month, that's 200 times 12, and then there's like 1,000 houses, so it's 200 times 12, and it's the overall figure.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, wow. Flip, that's going to be millions. That's got to be in the millions.
So what's your guess?
I don't know, 1.8 million.
1.9
Is it?
billion.
Oh, wow.
So you're only out by...
I'm only out by 100 million. But yeah, no, that is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? It's the most dramatic was in London.
Yeah, I can see that.
Obviously. So basically, the rental income has dropped, and they're saying, okay, so in which case then we need to find out what exactly is it that your tenants want. So this is I think a really useful exercise for any landlord, because obviously when you're buying a property, if you're planning on buying it to rent it out, it's important that you buy something that will rent out. So, are you ready for the top stuff that tenants are after?
Can we guess first?
Yeah, that's the idea. I'm going to make you guess.
All right, okay. So,
number one, what do you reckon it is?
Number one would be a well-decorated and clean place. A well-decorated, well-maintained, clean property.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that. That's actually number three.
Okay.
But they've put weekly cleaning.
Okay. Fine.
So
they want a cleaner?
I'd have thought you sort that out yourself.
I
pay for my own cleaner.
You sort it out yourself.
Yeah.
However, you're seeing lots of apartments nowadays pop up with concierge and cleaning services.
Do you know, that really appeals to me.
Yeah, it does me.
It really appeals to me. I've always liked being on the edge of a city, as you know, and I am actually moving a house next week. So, but I really like the idea of living in like a penthouse or something now.
Yeah.
You're in the action. You're in the city. You get concierge. You get cleaner. You got
most of them have got gyms on site now.
Yeah, and they are amazing. You got amazing views. So I think my next move will be somewhere like that.
Cool. Right. Okay. So number 3 was cleaning.
You have to look at it or put your finger on it, but don't look at the screen because then you'll give it away. Yeah. Did you look?
No.
Did you see any?
No, I didn't because you had to hand over it.
Good.
Okay, so what would a tenant want?
This is top 5 things they're after.
A landlord who's proactive. So if they've got an issue, they can call the landlord and it gets fixed quickly.
No.
What?
How would you know that? How would you know? When you look round it, are you like, is there like a landlord there? By the way, I'm proactive.
No. But
Little
like,
landlord
so
in the corner, little help button.
When's
That'd be
the-
good, wouldn't it?
when's-
Help button.
Yeah. When's the poll been done? After they've been in there?
It's
'Cause
what do you look
obviously-
for when you're looking for a property to rent? What
Right,
do you
when
look
you're
for?
actually all right, fine. Location, city centre locations.
Location. Nope.
Oh. Parking.
Yes. Number 2, parking. Dedicated, secure parking.
Yeah.
People get sick of not having parking or people nicking their parking.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the Oxford one that we've
It
got.
is a problem at Oxford. I say I've had a few complaints about
Dude, I had to reverse in that space.
that. You've got? Did you take your GLE?
Yes.
Oh man. So the property we've got in Oxford, right? It's a really old house, and it's in a really tight space, isn't it? It's like
It
it's
is
not.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And Russell stayed there, and he took his nice big 4x4 Merc, and he couldn't get in the space.
I actually did get in the space. I did about a 1,000,000 point turn. So literally, right, I'm trying to describe this. So the road is probably the width of 2 cars.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got people's steps. You have to.
But they
factor in.
got spaces all down the side. So the space that you can get in outside your house is pretty much the length of my car. I think when I got in the end, I had about 6 inches either side. Right, but the problem is you haven't got. When you pull up alongside it, normally you can swing out to the right to pull in, but there's no space
There's no swing.
because the house is there and there's steps sticking out onto the road. So I got alongside it and I was like, unless I pick up the car and place it in, how am I going to get it in there? It took me. I was just like,
Yeah.
Thank God I've got like sensors and
Yeah.
cameras on both front and back, but
And
it was a nightmare. How do you unlock it? Just put your fingerprint on the back.
No, you can't. If you just
Don't look
I
at the
won't
screen
look
then.
at it, don't
Look
worry.
away.
I'll just go into settings and turn it off so it doesn't go into display.
Just talk amongst yourselves while we sort
while we're just sorting
out
the phone out,
the
you just have a
phone.
little.
High quality entertainment here on the Property Investors
There you are.
Podcast.
See, it sorted itself out.
Good. Right.
Right. So
So parking.
Yeah.
Clean.
Good neighbours.
Nope.
Security.
Nope.
Nightlife.
Nope.
A roof.
You actually mentioned one of them earlier.
Did I? What, while we were doing this, or while we were just chatting?
While we were
generally?
doing this.
Um,
Well, we're talking about penthouses.
gyms.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Nearby gym, not in the house.
Oh, okay, just
A
something
gym nearby.
Okay. I would have thought something they would want, like it being a good location, like sort of restaurants and that nearby. Because I know I would.
Gym. Gyms are massive, mate. I know people, right, who've got multiple gym passes that travel around the country.
Didn't I just say this 10 minutes ago?
That was my joke.
Oh. As usual, Russell's humour has come out again. Go on, I don't know. Help me
All
out.
right,
help me
come
out.
on. Top one you should really get. What do you want? What do you look for when you're looking for a?
Just well decorated, like a really nice house.
So what rooms would you not want to not have?
What
That
would I
kind
not
of
want?
maybe an extra, but like you'd expect that you'd want
I'd
it.
want an office.
Would you?
Yeah.
You don't work.
Well, just to play, like just to,
Oh,
to go in and play.
Just to look like you're working.
Swing back on the chair, shut the door. It's my place to go where I don't get hassled by the kids.
All right.
I don't know.
Ensuite number 1.
Right, ensuite. Yeah. I would not. I must admit that is a big priority for me. I would never rent. I would never rent in a HMO, for instance, that didn't have ensuites.
No.
Even though I rent them out. But I would never ever have a house that didn't have an ensuite.
No. And then number 4, which you didn't get, not an expensive one either. This one, high-end kitchen appliances.
Wow. I get high-end kitchen, but kitchen appliances, i.e.,
Well, I imagine it means like the oven,
built-in ovens and things like that. Yeah, not the toaster.
like maybe a coffee machine.
Oh yeah, noticed like a lot of like nice hotel rooms and that have nice coffee machines in now.
Yeah, yeah. So it says. So I'll give you a bit more sort of information. I would guess. So what amenities tenants want? Location has long been seen as the key to finding the perfect properties, but for many tenants, it's what's inside that counts.
Yeah.
As part of the survey, Knight Frank sorted renters into 8 personality types and asked them which amenities they'd pay more rent for. The result proves to be highly consistent across all personalities. Tenants would rather pay more for in-property features such as ensuite bathrooms than for amenities in the surrounding area. In fact, the ensuite bathroom was the top priority.
Yeah, I can see that.
Weekly cleaning is also very popular. The parking, local gym, and indoor indoor features like the high-end kitchen appliances were things that people are looking for.
We see that in the old HMO market. That sometimes tenants don't actually care what's outside, like where the location of the property. It could be like in a pretty sort of rundown street, as long as the interior is like really high end.
Yeah.
The rooms tend to rent out.
And the location was, they said what was more important between affordability, location, and size. Affordability was top.
Yeah.
Then location, and then size.
I think obviously as people are the people are developing and the properties are developing, they're getting smaller anyway, aren't they? Like if you take Victorian houses, they're huge now. Like some apartments in London are tiny.
Yeah.
And city centres they're just too small.
They are.
So if you've got a massive family, you might struggle. But if you're just like a single person who's moved to a city for work, then yeah, they might be great.
Well, it's interesting because I'm moving from a larger house to a smaller house because I want a better location.
Okay. So for you, location's important.
So my location's
So you're moving
important.
from outskirts to the inside, in the centre?
No, I'm still outskirts, just in a much nicer village, in the posh part of the village. So, do you want tips for how to set your rent?
Yeah, go on.
All right, these are your top tips. Top tips now for setting your rent.
You heard it here first.
Number 1, evaluate the local market by comparing similar properties.
Yeah.
Number 2, ask your letting agents for a rental assessment.
No. Don't agree with that at all.
You don't agree with that?
No. Because they'll lie to you.
You ask a few there, don't you?
Yeah. What we've found, our experience tells us that if you go to a letting agent, they'll just say, yeah, we'll get you X amount because they want you on the books. You need to pretend to be a tenant. That's what you need to be doing.
Tell them.
Pretend to be a tenant. So
Yeah, but you can't go to them and go, this is my house that I'm thinking of renting.
No. So what you do is you find specific properties in that area, call the letting agent up and pretend to be a tenant and say, look, I'm looking to move to this area. How much do you think I'll be paying per month? And that'll give you an idea of how much you can rent it out for, because they'll not lie. So I shouldn't say they're going to lie. They're not going to tell you an over-exaggerated price because you're looking to move in. Whereas if you're a landlord with a property and you go to an estate agent and say, I've got a property in X and I want you to manage it for me, how much do you think I can get? They're always going to tell you a little bit higher. And then they'll come up with excuses all year to why it's not renting out for the price they said, like such as it's Christmas or it's Easter. So I would always pretend to be a tenant when trying to guesstimate how much rent you will achieve.
It's January.
Yeah.
It's February.
They have an excuse every month, don't they? But you'll always generally get an accurate figure if you ring up and pretend to be the tenant.
Okay, there you go. Good tip. And check your rental income will pass lenders' affordability tests.
Mm-hmm.
And check what current or potential tenants can afford to pay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like renting out a high-end penthouse for several thousand... I mean, I actually saw one yesterday. It was on Rightmove. It's in Birmingham city centre. It's £8,500 a month for a city centre penthouse apartment.
It's not too bad,
isn't it? £8,500 a month.
It's only about
3-4
times
the national average wage.
Now that for Birmingham, that's ridiculous,
that's
isn't
a lot
it?
of money.
I'd expect to pay it in London,
in Mayfair or something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But when you think about it, look, if you've got somebody that can afford to rent a property at that,
I'm telling you though, mate, Birmingham is going like London.
I know it is, but
you'll end up in Birmingham. You will
potentially. But what I mean is, if you've got an apartment that's renting for that, you sort of you have to assume that the person that's going to be taking it on are wealthy people. You're not going to have people
who's going to spend
exactly
£8,500 a month.
So the affordability
I tell you
is going to be good.
I tell you what, that they would have to be financially free. They would have to have such a high passive income, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
£8,500 a month on my rent.
Yeah, just your rent. And imagine if they live in that sort of place, their lifestyle is going to be ridiculous.
Well, Joey, you asked me what. I don't spend anywhere near that on everything.
Yeah, no. You've told me before.
That is ridiculous.
But it's still ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Right, so that's a good news story. I actually like that.
It's good, isn't it? It's interesting. It's helpful. It's actually helpful to people, which is something that we not used to doing on this show, which is strange. Talking about helping people, it's now time for your questions and answers.
Okay, so it's time for this week's question and answers. So this morning, Russell done a FaceTime live, and we've got some questions to ask. So here,
FaceTime Live. Is that like
is that not?
is that like a cross between Facebook and FaceTime?
Is that not what it's called?
No.
Oh man, I'm so ancient when it comes to all this sort of stuff.
Why specifically when it comes to all this sort of stuff? You could have just stopped.
Like social media.
I'm
side
so
of things,
ancient.
It's not social media side of things. Is just I don't mind it, but I'm a bit behind. I even got a message yesterday from one of our followers, Thomas. He asked me why I'm not on Twitter, and I said, Twitter, mate. I'm barely struggling with Instagram.
Do you know what? I don't like Twitter. I actually. Here you go. All right. I can see the appeal to it. I just don't like. I don't find it. For starters, Twitter is very much a case of what's currently going on, i.e. in the news and stuff.
Right.
And I'm not really interested, so I don't. It kind of a lot of unless it's sport, it kind of goes over my head.
I'm
just like, oh, has that happened? Really? I didn't even see. So everyone's giving their opinions on stuff, and they don't. Look, do you know on like Facebook where you share the story normally, and then you explain it? On Twitter, they just go out and they'll just go. Oh, I don't know if it's me not understanding it. I'm looking at Nick here to kind of get approval for this. But it's just kind of like, can't believe this has happened. Hashtag Brexit. And you're like, oh, has something happened? Was it again? Oh,
so
it's unusual.
Basically, apparently, according to Thomas Twirl, who owns a marketing company, so he's very good at what he does.
What's his marketing company called?
Twirl Marketing.
Twirl
Marketing. Very good guy, really nice guy. He's a very avid supporter of what we do, of this. He always supports it, so a bit of support for him. Thank you, man. Apparently, we're missing the trick with Twitter. We need to get on there.
I'm on there.
And Thomas is coming to the Crash Course this weekend.
I'm not there.
So I said I'd have a quick chat with him.
Thomas, I'm on Twitter, although literally all I've done is linked my Instagram account to my Twitter. So when I post on Instagram...
Do you know what I need?
It'll put it on Twitter as well.
I need somebody just to manage all my social media and just to deal with it.
No, you don't.
I do.
You need to do it yourself.
No, I can't be bothered with
well,
it.
then, mate, there is no point getting someone else to do it for you.
Why? Can they not just do it for me?
No, because they're not you.
All right. Fine.
It's your social media. That's like saying, I just want to hire someone to have my conversations for me. Because I'm so rubbish at conversations.
Well, yeah, there is that. Right, okay, should we get on these questions?
I'm right, aren't I?
Right, okay, I'll keep doing my social media. Thomas, you can help me on Friday. Right, okay, Jack Heath. Hi, Russell.
Hold on, what was his question?
Hold on, there was no question from Thomas.
Ah.
We'll get to his in the end. He has got a question there, but it's at the end. So we're going to do it in order they come in.
All right, so we'll start with the person that we're finishing with. Carry on.
Man.
Yeah,
right, okay. Fine, let's go to Thomas's question. Let's do Thomas first. Hold on. Morning, Russell and Alistair.
Morning, Thomas.
My question is, what are your thoughts on how social media and branding yourself help your property business?
I love how you say what.
That's what he said.
Yeah, but no, he didn't. He just wrote it. I love how you say it.
What?
You don't say that though.
What did I say that?
You sort of go. You pronounce the H. You gotta go.
What?
What are your thoughts? Only a Scottish accent.
It is a Scottish accent. So, what are your thoughts on branding?
You can do it then. Did you? Say it again. Say what?
What?
There you go.
So, what are your thoughts on social media and branding yourself and your property business? Should we say it together?
Well, I don't know what you're gonna say.
They're massive. It is, honestly, it's massive. It's a massive part of business, isn't it?
Although he wants to outsource it.
Good point. I just want to outsource it and somebody just take over it and just, because I don't get it. I don't know how to use Twitter. You showed me how to use Instagram about a month ago and I'm doing all right, but I'm not, I don't know, it takes too much time. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's massively important if you use it right. I mean, there's loads of people that have got big social media accounts, and literally they do what you say. There's a lot of celebrities and stuff that outsource it, and you can just tell. And it's just the same old. It's not them. It's it's just like I think if you use it correctly. I mean, dude, we work with Samuel, and he does the marketing and the branding, and that's what he's all about with the business. So obviously, we think it's massively important. So yeah, branding, social media, marketing. That's not particularly either of our roles. No. So we do it a bit. Yeah. But if you're pushing it forward to the company, then I think it's massively, massively important.
Yeah. So I hope that answers, Thomas. I'll see you on Friday, man. You come to the Crash Course in Peterborough. Okay, Oscar. Best place to look for below market value prices. Is Rightmove good, or shall I just visit or call my estate agent?
Best place to find them? Anywhere where they're selling your property. Yeah, Rightmove works. You just got to be prepared.
You're not going to. Can I answer this? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you there. You're not going
Don't
to
want to,
find.
but you did anyway.
Yeah, sorry. You're not going to find a below market price on Rightmove. Okay. You need to learn how to negotiate below market prices. So if the property's on the market, you need to learn how to actually stand in front of these people and negotiate. This guy is a great negotiator. So you need to learn off this guy. He's a great negotiator, and he's great at negotiating below market value deals. But again, you're not going to find them. You can find the lead on Rightmove or online on your computer, but you're not going to secure it unless you get out there. Potentially also another way to do it is walk into your local estate agent and say, look, I'm a property investor. Prove to them you're serious and say, what have you got on the books? I just done that again, didn't I?
Yeah.
What have you got on your books that's just not selling? What have you got in the bottom of your drawers that are not selling? You must have a property here that you've just struggled to sell. And then when they say yes, which they're likely to, you then just say to them, look, do you think the vendors would take an offer on this property? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to buy it. And then negotiate it that way. But again, you're not going to find these by sitting on Rightmove. You need to get out there and start viewing houses, start putting some offers in, and start trying to negotiate some prices. Learn how to negotiate.
We do a whole episode about negotiating below market. Was it last week? Week before. Don't know, a couple of weeks ago, but we do a whole episode all about how to negotiate below market value deals. So we spent about 25 minutes on it, so check out that.
One other thing I will say is we also, as part of the academy, we run a one-day training event all about sales and negotiation, run by this guy here, and it's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal day where you'll learn how to structure a sale and also how to negotiate a price properly. So yeah, that's definitely worth coming along if you're on the academy.
Next.
I've lost it. Sorry, hang on. Here we are. Okay. Catherine Williams.
Hi, Catherine.
Our latest academy member. She just joined the academy.
Hey,
so welcome.
Congratulations.
Hi to you both. I wondered, Alistair. Oh, somebody's calling me. Sorry.
Decline that call.
Hi to you both. I wondered, Alistair, what are the basics how to lay out terms of service when you sell a deal? Also, how do you both feel about adverts of your deals on Facebook? Thank you both. I hope you have a great day.
No problem, Catherine.
No problem. Okay. Catherine, you're on the academy now, so you can get yourself along to Deal Selling Mastery in April 17th. Some of the successes from the last event we run in January. You've got Nathan, who's gone on to sell £21,000 worth of deals. We've got Dennis Brown, who's gone on to sell deals. There's lots of people that have gone on to sell deals and structure deals. Get yourself along to that event on April 17th, and we'll be showing you how to do that. With regards to the second question, how do you feel about adverts of your deals on Facebook? Never. I never do it. You'll never see me advertise a deal on Facebook. I think it's amateur. I think it's unprofessional, and I think you need to put yourself above all the other deal sources in the country. All the amateur deal sources sell on Facebook. So use Facebook for a purpose of getting people to your mailing list and then promote to them via your mailing list. When you come along to Deal Selling Mastery, I'll show you how to do that. It's very easy. You just have to know how to do it. But yeah, I personally wouldn't advertise a deal on Facebook for sale. I think it looks unprofessional.
Cool, cracking. All right, here we go. I think that last question.
Yeah.
Last question. Russell Leeds, you are the man. Why did you do the show with Alistair? That's not very nice, is it? It's not very nice. To say.
It's just another made-up question. Russell bigging himself up again.
No, this is from Ray Hirang. He says, "What are the ways to get around the Airbnb 90-day restriction in London?" It was asked on EP6, but I would like to find out if you have any new tips or info. EP6. Oh, episode 6.
Yeah.
So it was asked on this show already.
Yeah. Did we not answer it on the show then?
I imagine that we did. It's probably the same answer.
Should we just re-answer it then? What do you think?
Okay. In London, you can't really.
That's against the law.
Yeah. It's not an Airbnb rule. It's a rule for. In fact, there's so many European cities and stuff that like.
Yeah, and it's getting tighter. I think
it is.
There's some places. Don't quote me on this, but I believe Dublin has gone down to 60 days. And it might be going down to 30 days.
That's ironic that Dublin has halved it. I'm going to keep making these Dublin
You've
jokes.
done that Dublin joke a few weeks ago, man. Come up with some new material. But yeah, and there's a lot of European cities going down to 30 days. I think that's going to happen in London.
Do you think?
Yeah, massively. Maybe the next year or two. I'll tell you, in London, it's going to be 30 days.
I think I would just avoid... The only real way to get around it is to change your property to a C1 usage, which means that basically it's a guest house.
Do you have any sort of planning restrictions on that, though?
There
must be a process to go through.
Yeah, there's a process you've got to go through. So you've got to apply
to
get it changed. I don't believe it's a particularly difficult process.
I think we actually discussed that. Do you remember that news article we done a few months ago where that lady was in in I think it was Leicester Square, Chinatown area. She had like 5 or 6 apartments she was just subletting, and she was like creaming it in. She made
the one that got arrested.
Yeah, and she got arrested because she was breaking the rules. So I mean, the rules are serious. The punishments are serious.
Personally, I would just stick out of London. I just wouldn't do it in London.
But there is places in London where you can still do it, and it's not affected by the 90-day rule. So there's a map. Find that map. And I know people that are doing it on the outskirts of London, and they're still killing it. They're still making good money because it doesn't come into it.
So I hope that answers your question. Guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in this week. We will be back next week. Same time, same place. Don't forget to subscribe, share it with all your friends, and have a great week. See you next week.
Have a great week, guys.